than 150 people were injured, including 8 seriously, in a fireworks accident during a temple festival near Neeleswaram in Kerala's Kasargod. The injured have been taken to various hospitals in Kasargod, Kannur and Mangaluru. It is suspected that the accident took place when a fireworks storage facility near Veerarkavu Temple caught fire. The accident occurred around midnight. The authorities are probing the cause of the fire, even as local communities come together to support the victims and their families. Nearly 154 people were injured, of which 8 people are critically injured when firecrackers meant for Theyyam festival exploded. The fireworks tragedy took place at Veerarkavu Temple festival in Neeleswaram. The authorities are at present probing the cause of the fire, and the local communities have come together in large numbers to support the victims and their families. The sources, meanwhile, have confirmed to News9 that the firecrackers were stored illegally at the location and prior permission was not granted. The Kasargod district collector has confirmed that no permission was given for the firecrackers. Let's go across to my colleague Vivek Narayan, who joins us over the phone line on more on this. Vivek, fireworks are always associated with Kerala's temple festivities, and you know, these firecrackers are very powerful. The question is that why is that? Why do we continuously, witness these incidents? Why do we keep on witnessing such incidents?
Yes, one of the reason why we keep on witnessing these incidents is that in most of these accidents, when the fireworks are conducted, they don't, get the prior licenses to conduct these, fireworks. In this particular case, we need to understand that we have the FIR copy. Now, it says that the fireworks were conducted without complying with the safety norms and guidelines and did not obtain a permit and license, leading to a fire outbreak in the house, causing serious mild injuries to over 100 people and damaging the building. Then the police has charged sections under 288, 125A, 35 of the BNS 3A of the Explosive Substances Act, which pertain to negligent conduct with respect to Explosive Substance Act, endangering life or personal safety. Now, we need to understand that according to the rules and regulations, there has to be a distance that needs to be maintained from the point of ignition of the cracker and the storehouse. Now, in this particular case, the prescribed distance is 100 meters. Now, but in this particular case, it was just 3 meters, and the public was standing very closely. Remember, 3,000 people who have been at that point of time at that particular place. It's a very small space, a congested space, where 3,000 people came, and they were standing at a very close proximity from the storehouse. And this point of ignition of the cracker was just 3 meters away. And the storehouse burst. Uh, Remember, this burst, the people had to run from there. And while they were, moving out from that place, many sustained injuries. Remember, the condition of 8 people are critical at this point of time. 150 people are injured at various hospitals, in Kannur, in Kozhikode, in Mangalore, which is the adjacent, in Karnataka, which is quite nearby from Kasargod. Remember, this is not the first time that fireworks accidents have been happening. In 2016, we saw an accident in Puttingal in Kollam. 115 people have lost their life. And after that, also, there were multiple instances of such fireworks accidents, especially during the temple festival that's happening. In all those cases, if you look at, the prior permission will not have been would not have been granted by the collector or the district officials or the police, and these temple authorities will not follow the norms and regulations which is clearly stipulated in the collector's manual while conducting a festival like this. They say that only fireworks worth so much of amount of money should be stored in a storehouse, and also the point of ignition and the storehouse, there has to be a distance that needs to be maintained, and also the people people should stand at such a far distance from the point of ignition of the crackers. All these things were clearly violated at this point of time in this particular case in Veerarkavu Temple festival that happened in Neeleswaram in Kasargod district, which is the northernmost district of the state. And there are investigations that is underway. Two authorities of the temple, the secretary and the president, has been taken into custody, and they have been charged under non-bailable charges. The police are investigating this case. The opposition has now jumped into this matter, and they said that there are clear violations. The police has not been vigilant enough to control the situation. If you look at the visuals, you can see that it all started very peacefully. It's a Teyyam Ulsavam, and all of a sudden you can see the blast happening, which is similar to a kind of bomb blast. And you can see how people were scared and they scattered all of a sudden, and they were running left, right, center from the place. And we saw the kind of panic that was there at this point of time. And and then we saw how many people were injured. Remember, this happened at 12:30
Right.
early morning, and even now, many are sustained injuries, and 8 people continues to be under critical situation because
Right. Vivek,
they
I'd
have more
like you
than
to hold on
50%
to
of them.
that thought. I'd like you to hold on to that thought. There is $1 million question in my mind, and I'm sure there are many others who want to know this. Why, despite repeated incidents, so many such incidents, safety measures are not in place?
Yes, this is the biggest question that many have been asking. See, usually when a festival, happens like this, the authorities, the temple officials are looking for revenue, and for that, what they do is, they call most of the people, and they conduct announcements, weeks and months prior to the festival, and people, for them, it's a very jubilant atmosphere what they're willing to, and many people, especially these youngsters, they like crackers, they like all these sounds, and they just come there for that enjoyment, for that jubilant atmosphere which they want to be in. And for that, what happens is, in most of these cases, enough police security and policemen will not be at place. And even though there are clear specifications that when such festivals happen, there has to be such and such number of policemen. In some of these cases, police officials will not come to look at the situation, to be around there at that point of time, and to ensure that proper inspection is being conducted. Now, there are festivals where these have been clearly followed, but in most of the situations, these are not being followed. In this particular situation, in this particular case, those protocols were being clearly violated. We can clearly see that, because if you look at the number of people who have gathered around the 3,000 people, which is a very high number, and it's a very small space, a very small locality, a small ground, and 3,000 people was something which that particular space cannot afford to. And it is that place where you can see so much of people who have gathered, and that has actually caused the panic. And it clearly stipulates that there should be a clear distance that has to be maintained. All these things were clearly being flouted. And what happens is, when one of the cracker was lit, the spark that came out of that cracker went and fell into the storehouse, and in turn, the entire storehouse was exploded. And that is exactly what you're seeing in that visual, that visual of exploding the entire storehouse. And we saw what exactly happened after that. There was panic all
Right.
around, the fear all around, and you see the people running around, and many got injured, and they are now in various hospitals, who are being treated, and we can hope that
Right, Vivek.
all of them are safe.